Yeah, hey guys. Today we're going to really quickly take a look at some of the questions that have been coming in on our 0 to 1K challenge. So here's a question that someone asked. I'm obviously blurring out their identity. I hope I've done that. I think I have. All right. So essentially, one of the questions that comes up a lot with monetizing a directory is how do I start? Like, how do I start making money? If you have a small site that has very few members, or even in this case, surprisingly, this person has a really nice looking site. Um, as you can see here, he sent me an email that said he had, well, this is actually several emails in, but he has 6,000 imported listings, and he's looking to add another 8 to 10,000. So I don't believe you need all of those listings actually to make money. But in this case, this individual's focus thus far, and again, he does have a nice looking directory already, which doesn't look like it's making much money, but it's well populated. So here is what I do, and this is kind of how I responded to him this morning and this afternoon. As to how to start monetizing the existing members that you have. Now, to me, the most important thing is to make irresistible offers. So I've posted a whole bunch of articles about this in the recent or in the most recent 30 days or so about stacking value. And when you just start with a new project, be it a directory, a community, an authority site, or anything else for that matter, the key is really to make overwhelming offers to your original or your initial seed audience. You want to build your tribe. You want to create true fans. This is all very cliche, but it's really, really true and important. I'm going to give you a really quick a couple of examples from my own life. I bought a software package, I want to say a year ago, called Viper.io. It's a software as a service contest, viral contest, and there's content giveaways, and there's all this different stuff that it does for blog marketers. So it allows you to create these contests and giveaways. And yeah, it's great for authors. It's great for any online entrepreneur, actually. But I bought it for some book promotional content marketing campaigns I was working on last summer, and I never really used it thereafter because life sort of migrates in its own direction. Anyway, when I bought a lifetime license. That's the point of all this. So I saw it on Product Hunt, and I tested it. It was great. It had some really good write-ups. The folks behind it seemed like they were credible and had some respect in the software development space. They offered a $99 lifetime license. And you know what? I thought I might use it. It looked pretty cool. I tested it a little bit over, some 15-minute windows a couple times over the course of a week or so. And I said, fuck it, I'm going to buy this. Why not? It's $99. I have a lifetime license. Well, when I first bought this last summer, it was one single tool at the time. So it was just this, I forget what it was. It was a leaderboard, I think, where it gave you just a basic contest. Since then, it's evolved into they have a viral contest now, which is a much better version of the leaderboard, which is still available. They have a content giveaway tool now, which allows you to, on a post-specific basis, give away cool things that are related just to that specific piece of content, which is a really popular lead generation tool these days. And they've just added something else, which I forget, which is coming out on the 9th of July, so maybe tomorrow. I think today's the 8th. The point only is they offered such overwhelming value that even though I really haven't even used this tool that much in the past year, it was a no-brainer to have purchased that at the time. And I feel really, really smart and happy that I bought that. There's another tool called audioma.com, which is an infographic and visualization tool made by this super passionate, really smart husband and wife team out in San Francisco. It allows people like me who are design dummies to make really, really smooth and sexy infographics that are just, they look awesome. I mean, and I'm a dummy, so I bought no, excuse me, I didn't buy a lifetime license. I bought a year license to this back in December, and I can't remember the price. It was like $40 a month, but they offered this deal to initial members. It was like, I don't know, like $150 for the year or something like that. I bought it, not because not, it was such a great value that even if I only used it a lot less than I thought I would in the moment in which I bought it, I knew it would evolve into a great value, and it was a lot of fun to use. And it has been like this tool has allowed me to make tons of infographics at 3 o'clock in the morning after 4 glasses of wine that are being shared all over Pinterest, and I could tell they're getting reblogged on my blog and on Tumblr, and and I've used these for a bunch of different niches, well outside of my own internet marketing or online marketing or book publishing or directory marketing style stuff. If you're on this YouTube channel, have probably seen a couple of these because I've posted them. I've made videos where I've used the infographic as the teaching modality. So the point is, and again, I feel really good every time I make a purchase like that. You have got to be able to be comfortable with making the same level of overwhelming value when you launch a directory. So or launch a new community style site like this, right? So one of the things that people often will say to me is they don't want to give away too much, right? So it's like, well, I can't give away all that for $99 for the year. That's crazy. Or, you're suggesting that I include too much, like I'm too high profile. My web design services are too valuable, or my X or Y or Z is too important, or I'm too big of a deal in my local community that if I give away this for $99 for the year on my new directory, it's going to look badly, like my competition are charging more. And the truth of the matter is that's just a fallacious argument. If you want to seed your site in the very beginning, when you don't have traction, when you don't have those 1,000 true fans, to quote Kevin Kelly, what you need to generate that. You need to develop that. You need to establish an audience that is going to be enthusiastic and is going to be evangelical in their enthusiasm to spread, share, and tell other people about your site, your service, your community, your content, whatever it is. So getting back to all this, what I suggest you do when launching a directory is just create overwhelming value, right? So, I actually have an infographic that using Audioma, by the way, that I will post on my blog to accompany this so you can visualize this. But just give away as much free swag as you can using an urgency style offer. So say, from July 10th to July 20th, everyone who signs up for the premium $39.99 featured listing package per month can get it for $99 for the year. So you're saving a shitload of money, and you're going to get, in addition, all these other extra things, right? And then you put that out there, and then you start to reach out to your community and say, hey, Joe, my name is Ian. I'm behind abc.com. And, we'd love to, we just added you. Let's say you seeded their site like this guy did, because this guy added listings. So, so he's using a plugin of some sort to import listings. So you could say to Joe, hey, Joe, my name is Ian from abc.com, and our aim is to be the comprehensive resource for listings for real estate listings in, my city. Let's call it Delray Beach, Florida. So we have 500, really high-end realtors like yourself who are on our site. We're really proud of the community, and we're just now starting to look for some folks we can really showcase. So, your name came across my desk, and here are some of the things that we wanted to offer you. Now, here's your listing, and here's what you can do to really augment, or here are some of the ways that if you choose to be featured, we can really work to make sure that you get the attention and the expanded awareness in the community that we feel you deserve. And then you just start stacking the offer. You give him a free logo on the map, so his icon shows up. You give him an interview. We want to interview you, Joe, and talk about your unique perspective on the local real estate market. Next, we want to give you, if you have a PDF that you give away. Do you have some sort of, how to buy real estate in Delray Beach, Florida, in 30 days or less, even if you have, bad credit, no money, or no down payment, or whatever. I'm just making this up, but we're going to stick a link to a PDF on your sidebar of your listing, and we're going to embed that in your listing. We're also going to, I know you have a Facebook page, Joe, that's pretty active. Why don't we also embed your Facebook feed in your listing so folks who are checking all this out can follow you directly from your profile or from your the listing itself, and click on your individual feed items within your Twitter feed, your Facebook feed, your Instagram feed, to ensure that you get the maximum social impact from your listing with us. All these things individually, Joe, are part of our $39 monthly premium package. But from the 10th of July until the 20th, the whole thing is available for $99. And you just stack the value to such a point that it becomes irresistible, right? That it becomes silly for him to say no to that. Like, we all know the feeling of when someone offers us a deal that is too good to be true, and you can validate that it is true. There is a certain friction and internal pressure that we feel if we can afford it, to say, you know what, this is too silly to not buy. I mean, this feels like if I ignore this, or I let this opportunity pass, I'm making a mistake. The other thing that you can do, of course, is if you have a couple other folks who are already in that package, and I'm going to give you another secret. You can just add these people in yourself. I mean, you don't have to give it to them for free without ever knowing them. I could find Jane, a realtor in Delray Beach, and just give her and add a coupon to her listing, and add her social feed, and add all that stuff, so that when Joe looks, he sees that and says, shit, Jane has this. I know she does well. It looks like it's a pretty good deal. Now, or it looks like it's an offer I ought to take as well. You can use social proof. You can fabricate, and I use that word in the most ethical way possible, because Jane ain't going to care if you gave her a whole bunch of free swag. You're not telling Joe that Jane paid for that. That would be the bad sort of fabrication. But giving people who you don't know, who you respect, who you think that local folks use and like, giving them extra gravitas in your community as a way of inducing or inciting or inspiring or motivating let's say, the tier 2 people to look at the tier A people and say, well, if they have this on theirs, I ought to have it on mine. One of the things I recommended to this nice guy here to use, which I use, and I've told my subscribers to do this, is get a tool like WPCoupons.io, or get the coupon plugin that allows you to force coupons on certain listings. So you can actually have premium members get they can have, not only do they get a coupon, they can actually force that coupon, or you can, as the site owner, force that to appear on selected sidebars. So Joe's deal could appear on all the real estate, let's say in his given target market. All of the other realtors would also have Joe's coupon on their sidebar. That's kosher to do. I mean, that's a Yelp-like. If you look at Yelp, I mean, individual listings have ads on them, right? So if you're, if I'm as a business coach, not advertising on Yelp, but have a listing on Yelp, the folks who are business coaches are going to show up in my listing with ads, right? I mean, this is a very, persuasive way to sort of get people to say, well, why is so-and-so's coupon showing up on my page? And you say, it's a universal sidebar that that shows up on every listing, and the premium members, by dint of their premiumness, get their coupons or their deals or their offers or their services are featured on the global sidebar in matching for matching profiles. If you would like the same thing, well, we can have yours show up, but of course, to be fair, you also have to be premium. So again, without going too much further, because I know I've talked a little longer than I expected, but the trick to this whole model I wrote to this individual this morning or this afternoon is using persuasion and positioning and gently leading people to recognize value, even if you feel there isn't yet much value there. Or in other words, if you don't feel like your site yet is getting traffic or the traction that would imbue it with that level of value in an empirical way. So if it's a month or 2 or 3 months old, you might feel sensitive about offering premium packages because by dint of your own metrics or your own analytics, there's not much traction or traffic yet. All right, the key is to get rid of that feeling, to just banish that to the dungeon of your own brain or mindset or thinking, because you're never going to, it's the chicken and the egg thing forever if you allow that to sink your project. If you sit there and you think to yourself, this is not yet good enough to ask for money, you're just never going to get good enough. It's never going to get there. And time and speed matter. All right. So you can do all this ethically. You can do all this in a fun and persuasive and really purpose-driven way. I mean, if you really want to connect with other peers in your professional niche or vertical or industry, a directory or authority site is the best way, bar none, of doing that. All right. The last thing I would say is just get super clear about what it is that you want to do. Like, get a strategy for where you want to be in 3 months, and just say, what is the quickest path to getting there? I call this, in my own sort of parlance or my own marketing model, the strategy of straight lines. Just create a visualization in your mind or on paper or however you work or imagine things best, and just, where do you want to be in 3 months? What is the single thing that is going to be the most motivating or the most skillful or the most intelligent to get to that place? There was a great, and I'm trying to think of the writer. He wrote, what did he write? He wrote The Graveyard Book. Neil Gaiman, I think his last name is pronounced. I saw him do a really interesting Q&A where he said that the structure that he adds to his workday is he creates a mountain in his mind, right? So he creates this visualization of the mountain representing where he wants to be in a year, in 6 months, in 2 years, in 10 years, whatever that is. And he asks himself, as he's doing his work, or as he gets up in the morning, or as he's in the process of creating what he creates, am I moving closer to that mountain or further away? And I really think that's a useful metaphor for all of us. It's so easy to get distracted and to think that we have to do all these other things first before we get to that, metaphorical mountain. So identify that mountain for yourself. Do you want to be making 10 grand a month, running a directory style business in 3 months, in 6 months? And then ask yourself, or it might be not financially, motivated. You might have a very different level of motivation or an idea of where you'd like to be, again, by virtue of what that mountain looks like for you. But you have to first visualize that, and then every day ask yourself, is this what I'm doing right now in this moment getting me closer to that mountain or further away? And I think if you stay with that fierce focus and that level of commitment to your own professional goals, you will certainly get where you want to be far faster than most. All right, I hope this helps a little bit. Feel free to ask questions if anything was unclear. Thanks so much.